move on. If we look at lean construction, planning with lean construction, we have to get to know the principles with the 7 sound activities, 7 requirements for an activity to be sound, to be good, to be done, and so on. If we look at the first requirement, number 1 is that the preceding activity must be completed. Now this is very important because maybe in our production line thinking, if the preceding activities aren't completed, maybe when we do our activity in line, maybe we block for any other preceding activities to be done. So it's important that everything's done at the right time, in the right order. So that's sort of the first thing we have to think about. The next thing is, of course, there must be enough space to perform the actual task. We need to make sure that if we're moving large beams or whatever around, or that we actually have enough space to perform the task. That's also very important. And of course, number 3, that the workforce must be present. If the workforce isn't present, then there's no way that we're going to get any work done. So again, this is also important that we have people ready to actually to do the job at the specific time. And the equipment and the plant must be present. So we also have to have our sort of the factory and the lifts, whatever, forklift trucks, production line, it's all present and ready to run. And of course, the materials we're actually going to implement into our module or whatever we're actually making, it's also very important that they're present. And then also number 6, the necessary information. Do the workers need any drawings, any specifications or whatever? They also have to be present so the workers actually know what they're going to do. And then again, we have these sort of external conditions. Are we working inside or outside? If it's outside, then there could be something like the permits. They could be from the council or one thing or another. Weather also has to be taken into account. It could be sort of implementing different materials together. We have to have some documentation about certain materials, certain ways they're added or work together. So also these sort of external things that we not always can control, we have to go in and make sure that we have a general idea about that they're actually there, especially if it's different types of permits, if we're using a type of brick in one area where it's not, where they're very specific about the type of bricks we can use. If we don't have this requirement in place or sound, then of course we have a big problem. But if you actually look at this, if you take one of these out of, say, if you remove, for example, number 3, then we have a problem because we can't perform our tasks. We're ready about the preceding activities. They're ready. There's enough space, but we don't have any workers, so we can't do anything. And it doesn't really matter that the equipment is present and the materials and the information and the external conditions. If we don't have the workforce, then it can't be done. And it's the same if we take number 4, the equipment and the plant must be present. If there's problems there, we still have a problem. We still have a stop in our production line. So this thought about how we actually should sort of make sure that our activity can flow easily and be done with. It's actually we make sure that we look at the 7 points here, and if they are all present, then it shouldn't actually give us any problem. And the bottom here is also what Henry Ford once said about waiting time. Is time waste differs from material waste in that there can be no salvage. The easiest of all wastes and the hardest is to correct is waste of time, because wasted time doesn't live on the floor like wasted material. You can't really see it. The material, if it's gone to waste and it's on the floor, it's present, it's there, you can see it. But if someone is wasting time, you can't really see it. So that's one of the things that why I have this production line, we have to make sure we know what everybody's doing at the certain times. And it's this waste of time that costs such a lot of money. And it can also halt or stop the actual or slow the production line down that we're actually wanting to optimize. So, lean construction. To be effective, production management systems must tell us can do. So what we can decide, what we will do, and we'll compare with what we did to improve our planning. And you can look at this, not now, this homepage about lean construction. And then we go into sort of some different areas here where we have this last planner, what we call the should, can, will, did plan. It includes 4 levels of planning. Now this is something I want you to use in this semester from today, actually. If we look at some what we should do, we should plan, and this gives you an overview. Now this plan and the level of planning is on the right here. This is what we, as you know, the master schedule for the whole project. This gives us a good overview. And what we will plan is to look ahead and secure flow. And now this can be actually done in a 6-week rolling plan. So it's a continual plan over 6 weeks, but it could cover from 3 to 12 weeks as well. This makes sure that we have an actual flow in our construction company and actually the production line. When it's a small project, we can actually sort of leave this level out. It's normally the larger project that we actually use here. And what we can plan is our work plan, and this is also really, really important here. We have a weekly plan about the activities. Sound activities is being done only one plan per week. And then after this, we have this changes every week, of course. Sort of follows the will plan, and we have afterwards the did reflections. What did we actually do? How many % did we actually plan? How did we perform? And that's sort of a reflection, so we can also actually see what can we change to make our production line better. So let's sort of go a little bit deeper in here. What we should plan is the planning of what we should do, the plan used to find important deadlines. You can sort of reuse previous design schedules that you've actually used here in the UCN. Consider if activities outside of school should be included. Are there some things that you have to do through the week that conflict with your schoolwork, or your work here at the university? And also reflect on the plan. Focus should be on the flow. Maybe we even also do it in the Use Microsoft project to get this graphical overview. And of course, if you use Microsoft project, we'd like you to have it printed and also hanging in the class so we can sort of look at it and use it. and every week add the progress lines and consider, does the plan sort of hold your general ideas, or do you need to revise the plan and make some changes? Let's look at this, the CAN plan. This is sort of weekly planning meetings, CAN plan, where you look at the activities for the actual week. It could be smart to use in connection with your weekly group meetings, because we expect also that you have the group meetings now. Remember to go in and check the 7 sound streams, the activities here that we need to know that are in place. And only place the activities in the week that you know that can be done. That's also important. Whether or not you use the lesson planning system, you need agendas and minutes of your meeting. So remember, it's also important that you have the documentation there, so you can always go back and look and see what happens, or what you actually decided. The did plan is also look at the percentages planned, performed. Planning is also has to include reflection, because when we've actually had an idea, we need to know how that idea actually sort of panned out, or what happened through the week. Did it actually go as you expected? And I think probably if we're really honest with each other, I think that normally things really don't go as expected. So we need to take these things into consideration. And how many percentages of planned work or whatever did you actually perform? Have you been, how have you performed in the week? Has it been a good, average, or a bad week? And write down how much of the activity you completed and compare it with the original plan. Because when we compare it with the original plan, next time you actually do it, it gives you a better base to plan, but it also gives you that thought where you can say, okay, I can optimize. And that's what lean construction is actually really about. It's optimizing the process. The plan schedules are already made in Excel, and I'll upload those for you, and they'll be found also on Lean Construction DK. You can actually join this for free, so you can actually try the link a little bit later. And this is my last slide. So it's sort of lean construction versus your personal planning, because you need also to have your personal planning. Consider the last plan system from Lean Thinking. Remember, being a student, member of leanconstruction.dk is for free. So we'd like you to join Lean Construction DK. Whether or not you use the last system, your planning is you have considered the flow and actual project. So if you use the last plan system, okay, then you have to be sort of pushed to show it, and you'll use it, and we can see the flow. But if you don't use the last planner system, we need to see your ideas about how you consider the flow in the work. But also the focus on avoiding waste is important, and ask yourself, is this activity necessary? Are we getting paid for this activity? We strive to place the right resources on the needed activities. And this is really important. And when we're thinking about now, we're thinking also about company, about ourselves as a company and making money. So do we need to do it? Are we getting paid for it? Have we allocated the right amount of resources for this activity? And you can look at some more inspiration here on YouTube. There's another video you can look at. So yeah, that's it for the moment. What I'd like to do now is to go back here and look or hear your presentations about the different philosophies here. Now, let's start with the group that took the supply chain management. Group 6. Okay, group 6. When shall if I make you presenter, then you can share your screen. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Hello, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's coming through at the moment. It's just taking a little while. Okay, yeah, now we can see your screen. Perfect.
So hello teacher, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm Tâm. I will be the presenter.
Okay.
So
Great.
this so our group 6 today will talk about what we have found about supply chain management. So supply chain management is the management of the flow of goods and services that include all process that transform raw material into the final product. You oversee the entire management of the supply chain. So there are 5 parts. The first is the plan or strategy. You plan out the things that you're going to product, and then the source of the material that you are going to use for it, then the manufacturing, then the delivery, and finally the return system for any defective and unwanted products. And here is an illustration that simplifies things out for you. The analysis, the logistics, the time to market, the plan, the distribution, procurement, and profit management. All of these are parts of supply chain management. So the benefit is a better collaboration, improved quality control, like you can have greater control over your supplier, you can deliver things on time, you have the time to find out the mistake on your product, so you can improve it on the final products. You also, another benefit is a higher efficiency rate, keeping up with the demand. You can produce a lot more for this demand of people. Shipping optimization, reduce the overhead costs, improve the risk mitigation, and improve the cash flow. But there are some disadvantages as well. It can be expensive to implement. Since you have to find employees for this, you may also have to install something like conveyor belt. It can be complicated, and if you have no plan prior to this, there can be a lack of coordination among the department, and you are required to train your staff so they can get used to this process. And there can be a lack of reliability between people if there's not enough trust. And that's it for our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thanks for the presentation. Very good. 3 minutes. But again, I think I like it because it's short, to the point, and you got the sort of the general sort of idea behind it. And I like sort of some of the thoughts that you've looked at, and also can be complicated to implement as well. And that's also something we have to think about, because what we actually have with these types of systems are very skilled workers. So we have to sort of handpick our workforce, and we also have to think about if we change it from one philosophy to another, then it will take time and money. So that's something also we have to take into consideration. But in the long run, it should be better for our company to actually to change to one of these systems. I'll just take the presenter rights back. Then we have the total quality management. Which group of students has looked at this? Right here.
Hi, can you hear me, teacher?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so Team 2, we will talk about the total quality management.
Do you want me to make the presenter?
Not me, but our team member.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, now you should be able to present or share your screen.
Can you see it?
Not now. Give it a few seconds. Yeah, now I can see it.
Okay.
You can start when you're ready.
Okay, please wait. Give me a second.
Don't worry, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, so we are group 2, and we will present about the total quality management in 3 parts. That is the definition, principle, and benefit. So first, let's start with what is total quality management? Sorry, we have some error with the presenter. I'm waiting for him to move to the next slide.
Okay.
Well,
I'm really sorry it took this long because our presenter have some trouble.
Can you just click on slide number 2? You don't have to start the presentation because you can see it no matter what. If it can change.
Yes, I'm still waiting for him to move to the next slide.
Yeah. Maybe it's also yeah.
oh, sorry, there's some trouble about. Oh. Okay, can you see it? There's some trouble about my computer, so okay, it's done.
Now we can see it, yeah. Now we can see it, yeah. You went to the definition. Good.
Okay, so let's start with what is total quality management. So here you can see the definition. The total quality management is the continual process of detecting and reducing or eliminating error in manufacturing, streamlining supply chain management, improving the customer experience, and ensuring that employees are up to speed with training. So the TQM aim to hold all parties involved in the production process accountable for the overall quality of final products or service. Okay, now let's talk about the principle.
So there are the field principles of total quality management. The first one is the customer focus, and the second one is employee involvement. Every person in an organization has a responsibility for quality of products and services. The next one is center on process. A total quality management system will fail without a clear focus on processes and process-led thinking. And then there's integrate system. An organization should have an integrated system that allows for effective total quality management. There are also strategic and systematic approach. Critical to quality management is the assistant of strategic plan. And then there's decision making based on facts. And communication is also important. And then the last one is continuous improvement.
And so I will talk about the benefit of TQM. The first is the less productive effect. This means that the productivity with fewer effects, which reduce the production cost, future customer support overhead and product fix. Certifies customer high quality products that increase customer certification in turn can lead to increased market share, revenues grow via upsell and word of mouth marketing initiated by customer. Lower costs, companies save costs in customer support, products replacement, field service, and the creation of products fix, creating higher profit margins. And the last is well-defined cultural values. Organizations that practice QTQM develop and nurture values around quality management and continuous improvement. The TQM mindset prevails across all aspects of an organization, from hiring to internal process to product development. And that is the end of our presentation.
Okay, thank you. Just let me take the presenter rights back. Good. I think we've got 5 minutes left, so I think we'll just keep the presentations for next time. Okay, so don't worry, we'll get to do those next time. We have time on Friday. What I would like you actually to do at the moment, just let me make sure I have the.
Mr. Carr, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the link to the Lean Construction student member thing, one of the links at the last slide doesn't work.
Okay. Well, let me check it.
So
Okay,
you check that.
get back on Friday.
Okay.
So we'll see for me. Well, maybe there's something missing, but we'll get back to that on Friday. So we'll try that then.
Okay.
When we're looking at industrialized building philosophies. I've just put a link on in the chat section. What I'd like you to do for just today or before Friday is just take a look at this company. Now this is a Japanese company, and they have really looked at these philosophies and used them, and actually made a production line factory for building houses. And there's a lot of interesting videos and information and one thing and another here. You can see I've actually visited this factory, and it's actually really impressive. So I'd like you to copy the link and have a look at the website. And then we can just discuss it again on Friday when we have another lecture. So that's it for me today. I'll see you Friday. And please stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye.